Welcome to Business World. I'm your host Siddharth. On today's edition of BW Hotwires, we have Mr. Sunjay Kapur, Chairman, Sona Comstar. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you.
So let's start this conversation with the latest development on production-linked incentive plan that has been offered by the cabinet to the automotive and auto component sector. What are your thoughts on this?
So I think it's a great initiative. We're very thankful for the government introducing this scheme. 57,000 crores is a big number. We've been working closely with the government to see how we can create export champions. They've been very encouraging in terms of building the auto component industry. They're obviously looking at a lot of different sectors. For export champions, it's 24 sectors. For this PLI scheme, it's 10 sectors. So I think we're moving in the right direction. I need to understand the specifics of this scheme better, and once I understand the specifics, we'll know how this scheme will benefit each component maker. I think from the perspective of the fact that they're pumping in that kind of money in terms of incentive schemes, it can go across the supply chain. Right from tier 1 down to tier 3. So let's hope that we are able to create an automotive hub, a manufacturing hub in India. We've been trying to do this for many years. We're going to have to invest in technology, not just for tier 1 suppliers, but tier 2, tier 3 suppliers as well. We're going to have to invest in technology in terms of process innovation, in terms of raw material, in terms of technology for products. And I think the time is right, and we're very hopeful that this is going to give a great boost to the automotive industry.
Absolutely, sir. Sir, now we are seeing a lot of talk about the auto industry getting some good numbers in the past October, and also people are expecting good numbers in the festive season. Do you think the industry would be able to sustain these numbers? Do you think this is pent-up demand? Do you think the industry is just preparing for the festive season, and going into 2021, we will continue to see good numbers?
So, I'm going to say that there are 4 components to this. There's pent-up demand, there's festive demand, there's rural demand, and then you've got this whole aspect of social distancing. Are people willing to take that risk and be in public transport? I'm not certain that people are willing to take that risk today. I'm not certain if that had changed with this. What's happened with this impact of COVID, there has been some permanent behavioral changes, and there will be permanent behavioral changes. We've seen great demand, and you've seen that we're in a V-shaped recovery as far as auto components go, as far as automotive goes. Rural India is very strong, and illustrative of that is the tractor market and how well the tractor market is done, as well as passenger car to some extent has grown because of rural India. When you look at two-wheelers and small cars, it's also impacted because of the fact that people want to socially distance. People have gone out and bought more vehicles. When you look at festive, that's what's happening now. The numbers in December look good, and I feel that commercial vehicles are on the uptake in a very slow way. However, if this comes back, we'll see we'll see growth. We'll see big growth, and fortunately or unfortunately today, we have a supply problem as opposed to a demand problem. And now we need to fix the supply side of things. We need to increase capacity. We need to make more the right investments and fix the supply side of things so that we don't run into supply issues.
Right. So now, since past couple of years, the auto industry has been facing a lot of headwinds. We saw BS6 migration in a very short period of time, then axle load norms. The final nail was the COVID pandemic-induced lockdown. In April, we saw 0 sales. This is like first in history. So according to you, sir, what are the current challenges and opportunities also, because we are in a crisis, for the auto industry?
So I feel that, we went through a rough patch before we came to COVID. Definitely we saw 15 to 18 months of, downturn. We were hoping for a very strong 2020, and then, like you said rightly, April was a zero revenue month. What's been good to see is that businesses have been much more robust than ever before. We've seen hardly any bankruptcies, which is definitely a positive sign. I feel that what the opportunities that exist today are opportunities to create, again, like I said, a manufacturing base in India. I feel we as private sector need to invest in technology, and every company in terms of tier 1, tier 2 or tier 3 needs to invest in technology. And once we've done that, I feel that we can get all the mechanics working and we can create a great opportunity for ourselves. Like they say, never waste a good crisis.
It's 12 o'clock.
And several companies in India, have leveraged this opportunity to continue to invest. I know a lot of my colleagues have continued to invest in capacity. Today, that's bearing fruit because the numbers have gone through the roof. We're also our company, Sona Comstar, continued to invest during the COVID, during the lockdown period, because we had orders, so export orders. And again, we've had export orders because we've invested heavily in technology. So I feel that there are great opportunities in terms of what we're looking at from a global perspective. We missed the US-China trade war opportunity to Vietnam and Malaysia, Thailand and even Mexico, for that fact. However, I feel now is a good opportunity when, people are looking at exiting businesses from China. I don't think it'll happen overnight, and I think we need a lot of support from government in terms of ease of doing business and cost of doing business. Ease of doing business with regard to labor, with regard to land reforms, with regard to dispute resolution. We can't have regulations that keep changing, that will definitely impact us negatively. Whilst again, when you look at everything the government is doing in the positive light in terms of incentive schemes and in terms of creating employability, etc., the right methodology will achieve the right results for companies. I feel, like I said, again, companies need to invest in technology, government needs to support the ease of doing business, and again, we need to look at cost of doing business. So, if we all come together in a collaborative effort, I think we're sitting on a great opportunity for India. Going back to the PLI scheme, if we can create an automotive hub here, that's a great opportunity as well, because we've actually understood the small car market really well in terms of the way we're able to produce for that. We've understood the two-wheeler and three-wheeler market really well. Can we create hubs for those component players to begin with and then slowly expand? From a component perspective, we're also looking at a lot of localization. Again, that's a great opportunity. To localize. Electronics is a big opportunity. They say that by 2025, India will import close to $200 billion worth of electronics, not just in automotive, but across the board. That localization of that can be a great opportunity. And if the auto component industry or automotive industry needs to work with other industries to facilitate this localization, we should look at doing that. I feel the tool and die industry, again, is a great opportunity, for India. If we can bring in the technology to localize tools and dies, and we're working with different partner companies through ACMA in terms of companies in Taiwan, companies in Korea, Japan, to see how we can localize tool and die manufacturing in India. So there are a lot of opportunities that have come out of this pandemic. I'd say more opportunities than threats that have come out of this pandemic. I feel companies need to now, leverage these opportunities and just to name a few is, localization and export opportunities.
Great, so perfectly put. We all, the government, the industry, everybody needs to come together and go ahead with this. Sir, at the same time, there is a lot of talk about different companies moving out of China, shifting their manufacturing base. Now, this is directly not coming to India because although the government is really pushing hard towards it, but other Asian companies, Vietnam, Thailand, are taking a larger piece of the cake. So, sir, what do you think we should be doing, or the industry and India should be doing to put India forward in this particular theme?
To be honest with you, we need to invest in technology. And I keep saying this, it doesn't matter what prices you can get. If you don't have cutting edge technology, we're not going to get business. So, whilst ease of doing business, we can continuously talk about this. We all do business in India at the end of the day. We manage to do business in India. Yeah, we have a few glitches here and there, but however we manage to do it, we've created a big industry. I mean, we export $15 billion, we import 17 billion, and therefore we're a net importer, which we want to turn around to a net exporter. But we're doing $57 billion worth of auto components in India. We need to invest in technology. If we have technology, business will move from anywhere to India. And that's, my key message is that companies need to invest in technologies for us to see this business move from China to anywhere, if it's going to move. And it's not going to happen overnight, because you can't stop a supply chain. And again, you take the example that I just talked about, electronics. Huge opportunity. How can we bring that opportunity to India? How can we localize? Tool and die is a huge opportunity. It's a matter of investing in technology, localizing and taking this forward. That's really what we need to do.
So now you spoke about technology, and there is a lot of talk about Industry 4.0 as well, data-specific manufacturing. So and then there are electric vehicles, and then there are emerging tech which is coming in. So don't you think we should, the industry and the government should also be focusing on skill development? Because at the end of the day, there is a new range of skills required with these new technologies coming in.
No, absolutely. So we have to focus on skilling and reskilling. I think Industry 4.0, from my perspective, is the way of the future. We have implemented several aspects of Industry 4.0 in our manufacturing setup. I mean, today, all my machines can collect data. I can actually remotely even fix machines. I've moved all our final inspection. We've moved to AI, where cameras can read the problem, and then we can correct that. And more companies are moving towards Industry 4.0. What this pandemic has taught us, two things: one is anything is possible, and B, anything is possible in a short period of time. So we've been able to digitize much faster than we would have under normal circumstances, because we've been forced to. As human beings, we adapt, to situations pretty well, and we've adapted to that. So I feel that government, in tandem with academia and industry, needs to look at skilling. I think the academia-industry connect needs to be much stronger than it is, because at the end of the day, they're creating a product, and we want a final product. And if we work together, we can demand how that product needs to, what the outcome needs to be, and therefore we need to work together. I feel with automation, robotics, Internet of Things, all these sort of technologies, the skilling and reskilling requirements are going to be huge. So when we look at automation and we say we've moved people out of end control, we can use those resources better, in a more effective way, to do something more, something else. And I was on a call or a panel discussion a few days ago, where we had this gentleman from talk about robotics, and he clearly said that robotics will outgrow the IT industry. And we need to take note of that, and therefore we're going to require the right skill sets to manage that kind of a manufacturing setup. So I feel there's a lot happening in Industry 4.0. There's a lot happening in digitization, and this is only going to continue. And what we must do is skilling. Again, when we look at employability, and governments want to have youth employed, I feel that we must work together with government industries, work together to see how we can manage this process to skill.
Absolutely, so totally agree on skilling and reskilling. So now electric vehicles are here, and electric vehicles are the future, but electric vehicles in India are very expensive. And you being from the components industry, what are your views on making these vehicles affordable? And we are not talking about infrastructure, we're talking about the product itself, maybe batteries, maybe manufacturing batteries here, because that is one of the most expensive component that goes into an electric vehicle. So your thoughts?
So I think, from my perspective, the cost is going to continuously come down. We've seen it come down already. Once the volumes go up and, the infrastructure is built, the ecosystem is built, battery costs will go down and continue to go down, and I think it will be affordable. Electric vehicles are here to stay. You're absolutely right. If you drive an electric vehicle or buy your first electric vehicle, you're never going to go back to ICE. From what I've heard people say and talk about. When you look at climate change as a big challenge, when you look at the Paris Accord 2023, Europe will go electric much sooner than probably anybody else. I feel we will go electric, sooner than we think, and infrastructure will be built. I think government and industry needs to work together to build out this infrastructure and this ecosystem that will allow us to go electric.
So now, on the point of electric vehicles, you being a big component manufacturer, how are you preparing for this new onslaught of electric vehicles?
So this question kept me up at night 5 years ago. What happens next and what happens with EV, and we made a conscious decision as an organization that we will supply to the EV industry, and we have slowly but pretty significantly increased the number of parts we supply to electric vehicles, or our supply to EVs, let me put it that way. So we are supplying to electric vehicles in passenger car as well as in the two-wheeler industry today as a business. We're not going to go out of business tomorrow if everything goes electric. And that was really our aim. 5 years ago, we decided that we need to look at this as an opportunity and not as a threat. And we've worked towards that, and we've geared ourselves towards that over the years. And today we're sitting in a good position, I'd say, where we're supplying to the electric vehicle industry.
Right. So now there's a lot of talk about a recession which is coming in the future because the whole world is dealing with the pandemic right now. Nobody's focused on the economy or the GDP. So what do you think? How can the Indian industry or India per se can come out of this recession, or safeguard itself from getting into a recession?
So I feel, I don't see, especially in our component industry, I don't see a recession. I see a V-shaped recovery. In fact, I don't even see a sawtooth recovery. I've seen it's a V-shaped recovery. I feel the US sales are going to be strong from a global perspective. I think India is going to continue to increase. Like I said, today we're looking at sales in terms of pasca, tractor, etc. Once trucks come back, that's going to increase. Europe may stabilize at some point, may not have that kind of growth. However, I'm pretty confident that we're going to see growth. We're not going to go, into a major recession from where I'm seeing it today. I feel what companies have done, especially in this time, in terms of building robust businesses, staying debt-free or low debt, this is the way to go. Build efficiencies into their businesses. And I think this COVID opportunity, this pandemic or this lockdown has given us opportunities to build efficiencies into all our businesses. And like you say, in April there was no revenue, but we were still working at how we could build more efficient businesses, how we could survive without revenue. I mean, companies have survived without revenue and still paying salaries and still paying other dues. So it's commendable in terms of how we've adapted, and I feel that this kind of way of managing things is going to prevail.
Right. So now you said we are a net importer.
Yes.
But at the same time, Government of India, PM Modi, they are very positive about Atmanirbhar Bharat, and they are enforcing this on all sectors. They are encouraging this, in fact. So how do you think we can change from being a net importer to exporter?
My one-word answer is technology. Okay, and I continuously say that because I'm a huge believer in technology. I think to answer your question, the government is working with industry to create export champions. I feel that's a great initiative, and that will help us move from being a net importer to a net exporter. And that's the aim that we have. We're working with international purchase offices from ACMA's perspective. We're bringing that benefit to member companies to say, here are a bunch of international purchasing offices that can buy components. So we're looking at all kinds of schemes. The PLI scheme, again, should pump money into the whole export initiative and the export incentives. I feel we're working towards that. We're definitely working towards that. Yes, there are challenges in electronics. I'm not going to deny that. And we need to work towards localizing electronics. And we need to look at localizing whatever we can. However, we have localized a considerable amount over the years. And we'll continue to do that through technology. Again, comes back to technology.
So now my last question, and this is about Sona Comstar. What is Sona Comstar's future plans? I've heard that you are planning to bring in an IPO. So could you just share your thoughts and a little plans on this?
So we are, working with all our customers in terms of how we can support them in electric vehicles. So, we do realize, again, we're a technology company. We don't look at ourselves as a pure play auto component company. We are invested in technology. When it comes to innovation, we are looking at process innovation and technology in terms of product technology. So, that's how we're bringing it all together. We've been successful in supplying to electric vehicles, in the passenger car and two-wheeler space. We'll continue to do so. We'll continue to grow in that space as the market evolves. Remaining in ICE, of course, we supply to tractors, we supply to trucks, we supply to passenger car, we supply to two-wheelers and three-wheelers. So we're well sort of positioned in terms of a spread across different segments. And as far as IPO goes, yes, we have a financial investor. Blackstone is an investor in Sona Comstar, and to get them, to give them an exit, we will IPO at some point.
That's great, sir. So thank you for your time, and we wish you all the best with the PLI scheme and with the crisis that we are in right now.
And happy Diwali.
Happy Diwali to you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Thanks a lot.